Hi guys! For me, speed sculpting is a way to practice shapes, volumes and anatomy. The key is setting a goal, improving silhouettes, anatomy or just having fun. In this video I show my approach using this code monkey. It took 1.5 hours and I'm excited to share it. Let's get started. One of the key steps is choosing references. A rich visual library helps sculpt more accurately. Here are some fun and inspiring ones I picked. I like using not only photos but also drawings that emphasize form and structure more clearly. Artists often highlight key aspects without excessive detail, making analysis easier. Adding such references to your board will help you better understand shapes and proportions. I have chosen my main reference and will now analyze the basic forms. In my case it's a monkey, and I have analyzed how the shapes relate to each other, where the rib cage is located, how much larger it is than the pelvis, and how the limbs lengths relate to the body. This preliminary evaluation will help you avoid incorrect steps and allow you to clearly define the proportions. When working on secondary forms, focus on the size and proportion of details like eyes, nose, and how they relate to the overall shape. Pay attention to the length of each part of the limbs and compare them to the front legs. Also observe how features like ears, eyes, and nose relate to each other. Simplify these interactions to enhance understanding and create a clearer structure for your work. Adding finer details makes your speed sculpt feel more complete. Focus on key areas like the face using close-up references for eyes, fur, and textures. Observe the fur's direction and rhythm, and try to replicate it. These subtle touches enhance the final result and bring the sculpt to life. Alright, let's start sculpting. I just want to remind you that at the end of this video you will find useful tips and a breakdown of common mistakes. I hope this will be helpful for you. We begin with the basic forms. At this stage I mostly work in symmetry, focusing on the overall shapes and volumes. I prefer using the most basic brushes available in the brush, as they help simplify the process, especially for sketching sessions. Here, I apply everything I mentioned earlier: shape analysis, flow, and form relationships. Pay attention to how lines move across the sculpt. This is often noticeable in 2D artist's work. You can see strong contrast in forms and emphasized areas, like prominent muscles or bones, which create rhythm and a pleasing flow. Don't forget about alternating C and S-shaped curves, as they make the sculpt look more appealing. Also keep rotating your model and checking it from different angles. Zoom in and out often. This will help you to step back and see your work as a whole, preventing you from getting lost in unnecessary details. Once I'm happy with the primary and secondary forms, I move on to posing. Nothing in reality is perfectly symmetrical. Everything follows a rhythm but isn't identical. To bring our monkey to life, I adjust the limbs, bending and transforming them to create a playful, dynamic pose. In speed sculpting, capturing the essence and emotions matters more than perfection. I also suggest the fur with light strokes instead of sculpting each strand, keeping the details balanced across the scalp. My main focus is on monkey lovely gesture, making sure it feels natural and expressive. For the final touches, I add subtle color to enhance contrast, especially on the head and belly. A bit of extra detail on the face helps draw attention, making the character feel more complete and visually appealing. I want to share my approach to rendering speed sculpts. The model looks great in ZBrush, but I enhance it with better lighting. First, I fill the background with a solid color and keep the HDRI map at low values. I adjust materials using vertex color from ZBrush for a more vibrant look. For the eyes, I apply glass material and lower the mask slider to make vertex paint more visible. Let's start placing the lights. I usually limit myself to 3 sources but position them to fully illuminate the model. I like using a side fill light, a top spotlight, and a rim light from behind to enhance the silhouette. It's hard to get it right on the first try, so I experiment. It's helpful to split the screen, adjust lights on the one side while seeing the result on the other. I often forget this function, but don't you? Lighting requires many iterations. I aimed for a darker lower part and a brighter upper area for contrast. Hope you like the result. Let's consider some points that may be confusing in your work. Not maintaining the correct mass relationships between elements, excessive detailing, noisy image, disturbed rhythms, ignoring the plasticity of C and S-shaped form, dark render or low contrast render, as well as overexposed, underexposed render scene. It's important to carefully observe how forms relate to each other. I exaggerated this effect and ended up with a funny creature, but it doesn't resemble the original reference. Always analyze how the facial part relates to the skull or how the length of the front limbs relates to the body. Analysis is a key. When we dive into detailing and stop looking at the work from a distance, it can feel off once we step back. This might be due to over-detailing, creating a noisy result where all objects have the same level of detail. It's better to focus on detailing the head and limbs first, while keeping areas like the legs, back and forehead less detailed. Disrupted rhythms can happen when the silhouette is uneven, too sharp, or jagged. It also occurs when the lines are unclear or when the thickness changes too suddenly. This makes the sculpture look less smooth and balanced. Ignoring plasticity is a tricky issue that's hard to spot in your own work. To avoid it, always rotate the model and view it from different angles. It helps to align the lines with anatomy, as some areas are naturally curved and you just need to emphasize that. Fur follows the same rules. If it's too straight and boring, it can negatively impact the sculpture's overall dynamics. Rendering is also very important. All your hard work can be wasted if the render is bad. In my opinion, the rim light technique works best. It highlights the silhouettes and separates the model from the background. It's also crucial to ensure the light sources behave naturally, avoiding overexpose or underexpose, and are placed correctly to create a beautiful play of light and shadow, which helps the work feel more cohesive. Thank you so much for watching. I'm really glad you made it to the end of the video, and I hope it was helpful. See you next time. Bye bye!